Welcome to the Accountancy Learning AAT sample paper video debriefs. I'm Sarah, and in this video I'll take you through the Introduction to Bookkeeping Sample Paper 1 Task 10. Task 10 is all about transferring data from the books of prime entry. We're given some totals of the sales returns daybook at Jutler Designs, and Part A asks us to show the entries to be made in the general ledger accounts below. So we're working in the sales returns, so this means customers have sent us products back. So when we're looking at our entries then, we are going to have to post our total, our VAT and our net. So the net amount is the equivalent sales, so therefore as its returns is going to be our sales return. Our VAT goes in our VAT account, and our total, so this is the gross amount, and this would be posted into the receivables ledger control account. So let's first of all just go through and put those figures in. So our sales return is our net figure, our VAT is our VAT figure from the box up the top, and then we've got our gross figure in receivables ledger control. Now we need to decide if each one of them are a debit or a credit. So we're talking about sales returns. So our sales, when we made the sales, we would have debited the receivables ledger control account because that's what customers owe us. But now they've returned something, we're going to want to decrease that amount. So therefore, we need to credit. So we're going to credit the receivables ledger control account, and this is the gross amount. So straight away we can see that if we need to, because we need to make sure our credits and our debits equal, that the other two are going to have to be debits to make this entry equal. But why is it a debit? So the sales return is an expense account, so it's an expense to the business for the customer returning items to us. So that's going to increase. So when we look at our dead click, our expenses are on the debit side, so when they increase, we debit them. And then with the VAT account, when we made the sale, it became a liability, so we would have credited it, but we can now claim that back from HMRC. So it's going to reduce our liability, so therefore it then becomes a debit. So think about the types of accounts and then apply the dead click. The discounts received daybook has been totaled and all amounts have been transferred to the relevant general ledger accounts. One of the transaction relates to a credit note for £62 plus VAT received from Pell Limited. Identify the ledger in which the credit note will be entered. So be careful with the wording in this question. So we've got discounts received daybook, and it's already been transferred to the general ledger accounts, and we're talking about a credit note. So discounts received is from a supplier, so a supplier has given us a discount, and that supplier is Pell Limited. But because all the general ledger accounts, all those transactions have been done, it's going to be in one of our subsidiary ledgers that doesn't form part of the double entry. So we would be posting this in the general ledger in the discounts received account, in the VAT account and in the payables ledger control account to reduce the amount that we owe. But we also need to then put it into our subsidiary ledger on our payables ledger. So this is where Pell Limited's account will sit, and we'll be able to identify how much we owe that company. So this is really important to look at the wording of this question. And then we need to enter the credit note in the ledger. So we've just identified it's going to be a payables ledger. It's come from Pell Limited, so it's going to be Pell Limited as the account name, so it's going in their subsidiary ledger. The amount, we've got 62 plus VAT. Now because it's plus VAT, we need to do the gross amount for this. So we need to do 62 times 1.2 to give us 74.40. So that's going to be our amount, because that's the total amount of the discount. So therefore that would reduce what we have to pay them. And then because we're reducing the liability, so this is a payables account, so we would have credit balances as to what we owe them. So to reduce that liability balance, we would need to debit. So this question is really, really asking you to read the question properly and identify the types of accounts, whether it's general ledger or subsidiary, and to demonstrate your knowledge between the two. That's the end of task 10.